What's up everybody? How are y'all doing? Shake my hand. My name is Ben Kim and welcome back to the 2.4 Pre-PT channel, and today we are going to be figuring out when you should take your GRE for PT school. Coming up. Alright guys, so lately I've been receiving multiple questions regarding the GRE, and that's very understandable because the GRE, especially for a low GPA Pre-PT, presents a great opportunity to stand out on your application. And since I've received multiple questions so far regarding the GRE, what I've decided to do is to break it down into a series. So today will be the first video. So far I have 3 planned for this GRE series. It's how to plan for your GRE and when you should take it. The next one is how to plan for studying for the GRE, so you can study for it within about 2-ish months. And then the last one being just test taking tips on the actual day of the GRE. So if you guys have any more questions regarding the GRE, please make sure to drop them down below in the comments, because if you have it, chances are another pre-PT out there has that same question as well, and you'd just be helping out the whole community. So what should your GRE test date be? To answer that question, first I have to say that I understand that everybody is at a different position, whether it's their starting point, whether it's the other things going on in their life. So acknowledging that, what I will go over with you now is what I usually go over with my mentees, and it's just 4 things that I take into consideration when talking with someone about their situation on when they should take their GRE. Alright guys, so the first thing to consider is which cycle will you be applying to. So for a lot of low GPA pre-PTs, I actually recommend them take a gap year, if not 2 years, because there's just a lot to do. Like there's a lot of classes to retake, you gotta take the GRE, a lot of experiences you need to go through. You need to get those great letter of recs, and on top of that you got the whole application and those essays and all that to do on top of that. So to try to do all that coming out of undergrad within that first year, that's a lot of cramming. You're likely going to have to take a lot of shortcuts, and when you do that, a lot of times you end up hurting your application and wasting time and money because you're going to get rejected. And when that happens, you know, you get discouraged, you lose confidence, and we don't want that to happen. So a lot of times I definitely do recommend a gap year, but there's a lot more I can speak on that. And so what I'll do is I'll actually make a future video on that topic of which cycle to actually choose when applying, or which cycle to apply to. And another thing to add to this point is that every year PTCast opens around either late June or early July. This year in 2019 is opening on July 3rd, and it's strongly recommended to apply earlier rather than later. So if you can finish your GRE within the first half of August, I strongly recommend that. Another thing to ask yourself is, are you going to do early decision this year? So the deadline this year to apply is August 15th, and because the deadline is August 15th, the last day you can take the GRE for the early decision is July 31st. And so for those of you who don't know what early decision is, basically you gotta pick one school and you gotta apply there before everybody else in the regular pool of applicants. And after you select that one school, you can't apply to any other schools until you hear back from that school. And their deadline to tell you your results is sometime September, so you hear back relatively quickly. And that's basically pretty much the gist of early decision. But if you want to know more about early decision, I'll be putting out another video in the coming weeks about it. So if you're interested, definitely be on the lookout for that. And so for point number 2, when do you have a gap? So as pre-PTs, we're usually doing a lot. Like some of us are doing part-time school and part-time work. Some of us are doing just full-time school. Some of us are doing full-time school, full-time work and part-time school. And so it could be a lot. And when you're coming home from an 8-hour shift, and you have other classes to study for that are more important in the moment, it's hard to also study for the GRE like after you're so fatigued from everything else. And so I recommend people to find that gap, whether it's like in between maybe 2 semesters, in between, maybe it's like your summer break, maybe it's your winter break, where you just have like 1 to 2 months to just really focus on the GRE, make it your main priority, and just lock down. Because with the GRE, consistency is definitely key, and if you can't be consistent with it, it makes it really tough to make noticeable gains. Alright guys, so now for point number 3. Have you begun? Where are you in your studying? Have you just begun? Have you taken a practice test? Where are you at? And so if you've never ever even practiced for this test before, or never even studied, I would say give yourself a good 2 to 3 months of just time to be consistent and study for it. And if you have studied for it, really depends where you're at. If you're still stuck and you're still maybe under 300, but you've been like just inconsistent, I'd say give yourself a solid 2 months of just being consistent. And just plan that out. Make your test date 2 months from now. And in the next video, we're actually going to be talking about how I laid out my 2-month strategy, and you guys can take that and try that study strategy out and see if that works for you as well. All right, guys, and now for the fourth and final point, buy the date and share it. When you put your money down and you decide on that date and you mark it on your calendar, you have set your intentions, and now you're naturally you have that sense of urgency. You're more likely to be consistent with it. And also share this out with your friends, with the people close to you, people who are in your support system, are going to help you stay accountable. And that does, trust me, that really does wonders. Even on days that maybe you don't feel like doing it, and say you don't do it for a day and your friend checks up on you the next day, it's like, hey, how's your GRE studying go? Like, the fact that people are always putting that in your mind helps you stay on track. And this is really for like, it helps people who like to procrastinate. And here's the thing, right? Like, come test day, if you feel like you're not ready, like, at least setting that test date initially made you study more than if you had not set that test date. And to also have the option of moving your test if you need to is great. And so I highly recommend you do that. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys found this video helpful, please make sure to smash that like button. And if you guys want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you guys have any more questions regarding the GRE, put them down below. I'll be sure to answer them. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm Ben Kim, the 2.4 Pre-PT, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.